Hey everyone, thanks for joining us again today. Today I am here with Max Geraci. I probably got that wrong, but I did my best. But Max is one of our premier customers here on Legiit, and he has agreed to tell us a little bit about what he does and how he uses the platform and so on. So how's it going, Max?
Fine, thank you. Nice to be here, Chris, and to meet you in at least on video. It's some years that I stay on Legiit, so nice to meet you.
Oh, we appreciate that. I'm nice to meet you as well. I appreciate you taking the time to do this. I know it's, 10 o'clock there for you. So,
Yeah, yeah,
and where are you
exactly.
coming from, by the way?
From Italy.
Italy.
From
Oh,
Italy.
awesome.
Yes, yes, yes.
Great. So why don't you just give us a little bit of background on, what you do, what your business is, what you offer?
Sure, sure. I've got an SEO and content marketing agency in Northern Italy. And also I've got some side projects in the affiliation in the US and Canada and in the e-commerce space. And now in the SAS space too. So I'm trying to move during the last year from the clients to the agency side to doing more on the side project side.
Okay, great. And so you have an agency where you work with like local clients and things like that?
Yes, I do local and even national for some big sites in some specific niches in Italy, but mainly I have local clients here in Italy. Yes.
Oh, awesome. So that's cool. So most of your clients are there in Italy.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
Uh, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Do you focus on a particular niche or just whatever?
Restaurants, because my town here in Italy is Bologna. Maybe you know
Oh, yeah.
tortellini, lasagna, bolognese, and so it's very famous for food. So I'm in the niche food restaurants and even in the parenting, both from Italian clients and even as affiliation sites that I have for the US market.
Wonderful. And you said you have some SaaS projects too. You want to tell us a little bit about those?
Yes. Yes, entitieschecker.com is a free application that I'm currently developing as a proper SAS with my business partner, Craig Campbell. I think a lot of guys know Craig.
Yeah, I know Craig well.
And yeah, and yes, this is a tool for entity SEO, entities extraction, structured data generation with entity injection, and also internal links. The big part we are developing right now is a kind of a new tool for internal links because there are not so many working good on the market.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I don't want to dog on anybody, but I used
yeah,
Linkus for a long time. And
sure, sure,
it's fine
sure.
for certain things, but I used it on an AI site recently and it tanked the site.
Yes,
So
yes, that's the point.
yeah,
That's
that's
the
cool. I didn't know that
point.
you worked with Craig. We spoke at the same event back in April at SEO Spring Training. I'd
Yeah,
known him for online for years before that, but I got to meet him and he had my favorite presentation, other than my own, of course. He had my favorite presentation where he talked about
yes,
not. I won't say it because we have a family friendly audience, but not sucking.
yeah.
So
He's a crazy SEO. I love his approach. I've learned a lot from him too,
yeah.
maybe in the so-called gray space. And yes, it connects to what I do with Legiit and what kind of services I tested over the year on Legiit.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you use Legiit, like any like how you use it in
Sure,
your business, and then maybe any
sure.
particular services or freelancers you like?
Yes. I use a lot of the SEO services, and some of them are now in my standard SOP when I do a new site or a new Google business profile. So I start from the foundational links, and then depending on the project, I do a lot of PBNs and I do map embeddings with a lot of satisfaction. I do the citations. There are some vendors that also sell Italian citations, and they are good.
Right.
And yes, I do a lot of stacking too, G stacking in particular. So I have some vendors from which I buy the basic stack, and then I continue to build upon them, because in the G stacking, you cannot just buy the service and then stop there. You have to continue to add things to your open documents. And so, yes, I have to admit that maybe 3 years ago when I started to use Legiit, even with another account, I was a bit skeptical because I was working in Italy. And so I was wondering how certain type of links or services in English were working or not in Italy. But yes, after 3 years of experience, as I've said to many of my SEO friends here in Italy, they absolutely work. So you can work with PBN's links, even if they are in English or another language. But yes, in English, the only point is using the proper anchor text in Italian, and that's it. But the service is absolutely fine to use in Italy. For the map embeddings, is the same thing. They don't have to be, or the Web 2.0 services. You don't have to build something in Italian to have them working with your clients or with your local campaigns. They work pretty fine, even if they are in English. Even the PRs, I buy PRs from Legiit or from some vendors that are on Legiit, and they work even if the network is in English. We don't have anything like that kind of service in Europe. There is no distribution for PRs, so you cannot do that. But if you do an English PR, it works absolutely fine to have your domains diversification and to have in a few time a lot of different domains pointing to your site. So I really suggest to the skeptical Italians or not English, native English like I was at the beginning, to just give a try on a test site or something that is not so, maybe not a client at the beginning, but you'll be surprised by how well they work.
That's good to hear. I get asked that, not a lot, but more often than I think is necessary. From people from other countries, do you have any guest posts in whatever language, Italian, German? I get some pretty exotic ones sometimes, and I'm like, I don't, or I have very few, and they're expensive, but I don't think it's necessary. Like, Google's a worldwide entity. It's probably not the right word, but it's good to have somebody else that works in a different country to back that up when I've said that. So I'm glad to hear that.
Absolutely. I've tried them to my French and Spanish site, and they work quite well too. Maybe the reverse is not the same. Maybe having a lot of Italian links for ranking in the US is not the best you can do. But the English is the language upon Google was built. So everything is from English written sites is just working. That's it.
Great. Now, do you find that, it's off topic, but do you find that the Italian or whatever French versions of Google are easier to rank in than the .com?
Yes, absolutely. Now in Europe, things are changing, especially for German and Spanish. Spanish now, it's maybe as difficult, maybe because in the US there are a lot of Spanish-speaking people. So, but if we are talking about Italian or Portuguese, I've done some SEO in Mexico. It's really easy. With only PBNs in Mexico during the COVID, I worked for a physician, for an heart physician client, and he started to sell some basic tools, to measure oxygen in the blood, stuff like that. And just with PBNs from Legiit, we were able to overrank Amazon for all the keywords.
Oh, wow.
For all the keywords.
Awesome.
During the COVID, he didn't have a lot of patients, but he sold tons of medical tools. Yes.
That's awesome.
So it's quite different. Brazil is fantastic right now. Brazil is very easy to rank. There are money, so there are affiliation programs, and yes, it's a country where it's possible to do business like maybe 10 years before in the US. Yes.
Yeah, back in the day, I had, because that was when I first started learning SEO. I learned from Alex Pecker, was one of them. One of the things in the course that he had was that you should try foreign SEO. And I did have a French dental teeth whitening EMD that I ranked for whatever I don't remember how to pronounce it now, but had that I ranked it for the teeth whitening terms in French, and it drove some affiliate sales before Penguin 2.0 came out and crushed
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's a cool thing that a lot of people, especially in affiliate marketing, don't take advantage of, that they probably should.
Absolutely. I really think that one of the SEO overlooked thing is the horizontal expansion, so the translation of the content that you have.
Yeah.
And now with AI and some very good API for the first row translation, you can really automatize that in a very cool way. So
That's actually
I'm
something we're
trying
working.
to
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm trying to leverage these, translating some of my best Italian content to French, Spanish, and it's working quite nice. Yeah.
Yeah, we're actually it's on the roadmap to have Legit in other languages too, because
Yeah.
it's a big thing. We actually had the idea for that from Mr. Beast of all people,
Yes.
because he took and translated all of his. He has like Mr. Beast Espanol and all these other things. He's like, that's
Sure.
like most of the world doesn't speak English, and he said that's people that can't consume his content.
Exactly.
And he says that
And
he has like
now,
100 million subscribers on the Spanish version of his channel.
yes, now it's very easy with video too. There are some two AI right now that you can upload a video in English and have a perfect translation with your cloned voice and the labial synchronization, and it's spoken in English, Italian, Spanish, French, German. You
Oh
can
wow,
just upload one language and have the video in the other four. It's quite impressive.
that's cool. I didn't
Yes.
even know that. So.
Yes, they are new things, and so it's maybe a couple of weeks that they are out. So I've tested them, and they are very, very good.
Cool. So you mentioned entities, and you mentioned PBNs. Are there any particular freelancers or services you want to plug for us?
Sure. Over the years, I've created an Excel file with all the vendors I tested, all the vendors that some friends tested, and who are endorsed by famous SEO. So I have many of them for the different services. For the PBN, for example, your own service, and Saket and Serpaus, and yes, I use Serpaut, and yes, I use a lot Missing Link. I
Okay.
use another one for the map, and Gemini Guy.
Gemini
He
guy.
does great things, great rings of IFTT and even GStacks.
Yep.
Yes, so these are Inzam Shahib is another guy I buy from for PBN2. So yes, for
Awesome.
me, Foundation with and Web2 with Gemini Guy, and then PBNs from you and Saket, and so they
Great.
are my main. Yeah.
That's great. Those are some great vendors. I know all of them
Yes.
personally, so that's cool. And I'll put
Yeah.
wherever you're watching this in the future, whoever's watching, I'll have all those links in the comments and the description for you, so you can check those
Yeah.
out too. But so and you want to I think it's pretty much all I had. You want to tell us again what your software was called?
Yes, entitieschecker.com. It's free, so just visit it and use it.
Okay, we'll have
It
a link to
does
that.
a entity gap analysis, so you can do a search, select some competitors, and ask the tool to extract the entities shared by at least, let's say, 5 competitors out of 10. So
Wow.
it gives you, yes.
Great. Well, I will put a link to that in the comments
Yeah,
and description.
thank you.
And if you want to plug your agency, you can go ahead and do that too.
It's Makoto. It's studiomakoto.it. And yes, we are very strong in local and general SEO and content marketing. And we are proudly supported by Legiit.
Well, thank you. We're happy to help. Like we agencies are probably our, I don't want to say our favorite clients, because everybody's our favorite clients, but they're both myself and my business partner in Legit both have agencies and come from that. So
yeah,
we know how to work with them, and we're happy to help, because we know that outsourcing the fulfillment is one of the biggest like pressure valves you can release in your agency.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Cool. All right. Well, I know it's late. I won't keep you any longer. Anything else before we wrap up?
No, thank you. So,
well, thank you for taking the time out to do this. We appreciate that. We appreciate your business. And like I said, we'll link to all your stuff in the comments. And yeah, so thanks a lot. And hope you have a great night.
thank you. See you. Bye-bye. Have a good
Bye.
night.